Yo, this boy, I see Ghost 19. Okay, let's talk. You know, let's just real talk. Okay, so I'm a big family man. I love my family, and I try my best to do for my family. You know, um, the one thing is, uh, like growing up, I dealt with a lot of different abuse, psychologically, mentally, physical, emotional abuse, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm healing from it every day while I'm talking about it, while I'm using this as therapy for me. Like, I don't know, it just helps me. But I wanted to talk about my mother today, my mom, you know, just talk about her a little bit. Um, so I was born from my mom um, on October 8th of 2000. And I had two older brothers at the time on my mom's side. I don't know how many kids my dad had when I was born. I ain't finna count because that was confusing. But yeah, so I had two older brothers when I was born. Fast forward 2 years, well, not even 2 years, my mom was already pregnant with her fourth child, and it was, a girl. So, the first girl. And I wasn't the baby for too long. Right after I turned two, she was born. Like what? Almost 4 months later. Wait, yeah, almost 4 months later. And then followed from that about I don't know. I'm two, so she would be zero. I don't know. Well, I'm 5 years older than the twins, so almost three, I guess. 3 years the twins. From Alicia, which would be the fourth youngest, well, fourth oldest, and then the twins. So when I was growing up, I had two older brothers, three younger sisters. It was a packed house, like super packed. Not had a lot of room to myself, basically, or a lot of headspace. But I just grew up with you know two older brothers by my side for the first like 12 years of life. So my first 12 years, I had my two older brothers by my side. Then my mom ended up marrying a dude, and he our family. Don't get me wrong, our family wasn't all put together or like a car adhesive unit where no one could break it. No, we had cracks in our armor. We had cracks in the shield. We had cracks here. We had cracks there. But at the end of the day, we stayed together because we loved each other. Okay? So, my mom ended up marrying this dude. The dude was toxic, so toxic to us, to my brothers, that they left in two different ways. And I'm not going to go in details why they left, or I mean, not why they left, but yeah, why they left. But it wasn't a good situation for neither of them, so they left. And so, as they left, I started getting the full abuse from my mom in different ways, like punishments. I was always on 10 because my mom would be on my case about this. Oh, the dishes ain't done. It's your job. The trash ain't taken out. It's your job. The grass ain't cut right. It's your job. Just different things that my brothers did that kept the house going. Then it was my responsibility. Watching my sisters was my responsibility. Making sure they was protected was my responsibility. And so it was hard for me to adjust, and I felt like I was doing everything wrong. Plus, I was already dealing with the sadness of not having my two older brothers in the house and dealing with a stepdad that was abusive and mentally and verbally to me. And I say this not easily, but it seemed like no one cared. No one gave a fuck. No one really cared for how I was feeling. And so all the pain I had, all the things, I started acting out in school. And I mean, really, it was just like explosive anger, not giving a crap, crying, just angry, because it just every day it just seemed like it was getting worse and worse, and like no one was hearing my pain, like no one was experiencing what I'm going through. I cried and I asked for help, and it just seemed like all the people I cried to didn't care. And then also the simple fact, when the people who did care, who tried to help, they really couldn't do nothing because of different reasons. And so you guys ask questions like, if you don't ask me questions of why, like I didn't move in with a different family member or certain things, my mom wouldn't let me go. My mom wanted me there. And I don't know why. And I don't know. Like to this day, I don't know why she wanted me there. But, she did. So, therefore, I took the blunt of it, took the pain, took all the stuff. And it just seems like the pain wasn't subsided. And the one thing about like my mom, my mother, what she tells me when we was growing up, and this was a big one, I don't want to hear it's my fault. Like all the decisions, and I'm not saying all this is her fault. I'm not. I'm saying like decisions she made, decisions that affected me negatively and everything, she did not want to hear it. She doesn't want to hear it. So it's like I could never talk to her about how I felt because it was just crazy. Like I could never talk to her about it. Like certain things. And like, it sucks. Like a mother is supposed to be, there for the sons or there for the daughters, but it just like, it never really, she was never there. And another reason she was never there, and I don't hate no one for doing this, but if it stops you from being a mother, then you shouldn't do it. Going back to school. I would never tell someone not to go back to school unless if it negatively affects your kids. Like, for me, I just felt like my mom didn't care about me. I felt like my mom didn't understand I was in pain. She just was more focused about getting good grades and trying to start a business and trying to do this, trying to do that. And don't get me wrong, you can do that, whatever. But when you become a parent, it is certain things you can't do anymore. And I understand people will say, oh, they need to better themselves. Where was all this when you was laying down having kids? I'm sorry, but where was all this when you was my age and had no kids? Where was all this? Like I hate to say it, but when you give up and when you have kids, you gotta be there for them. And my pain was I didn't feel like my mom was there. I definitely didn't feel like my father was there. So it's like neither of my parents was there in my biggest moments, it felt like. And I just felt abused and did not give a crap. Like, that's me. I'm feeling so much pain and I want to talk about it. And it hurts to talk about it, but it also feels so good to get this pain out of my chest. Like, I don't feel much pain anymore every time I talk about this. It just helps me.